Alright, what's going on everyone? It's your boy Big Grease, and today I'm coming back at you with something I like to call IFR4U. It's a mission I've just created. Um, it showcases only old school planes and whatnot, but IFR4U is basically just a mission strictly about IFR flying. There won't be any use of weapons and stuff. There's not going to be any enemy or anything like that. It's just going to be all about knowing how to fly in bad weather in low visibility conditions. Uh, there's not really going to be Generation 4 jets. There will be no FA-18s, no F-16s. Um, there is a Mirage 2000. I don't have the F-14, so it's not in here. You have the MiG-21. You have the MiG-19. You have the Viggen. You have the Spitfire, normal wing and clipped wing. You have the TF-51, and you have the BF-109. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it started with this. So right here is just the briefing menu, just showing you a couple of things. Actually waiting for my computer to load up itself. Okay, here we go. These are all the flights that are in there. Most of those are not flying though. Things like the C-17 and the KC-130s, those are flying. But here you go. It's just a quick briefing and whatnot. And just to confirm for you guys, I am not playing this right now. I've actually already recorded the flight and I'm just talking over what I've done. So right now I've loaded into pretty much my favorite jet in DCS is the MiG-21. Nothing but gauges. Could go ahead and get this thing started up. But if you look out there, it's basically pure rain, pure IFR conditions, and I've set it so that the clouds actually blend into the fog. Uh, that way it's kind of tough to get through. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. And forgive me for the mouse being off slightly. It's just I don't know. It's my first time even recording DCS, so it's also kind of like a benchmark test for my computer. I go ahead and tune in my radio. We're at mineral whatever.
Минводы, 503, запуск. 503, Минводы, запуск разрешаю. Ветер у земли 239,
Turn on my three
метров в
fuel
секунду.
pumps. Fuel pump switches, APU, fire extinguisher, turn off the idle detent, hold that button for 4 seconds, and you're starting the MiG. Every time. And while I wait for that to spool up, go ahead and do my little cockpit pressurization. I'm checking out the C-17 that's rolling. So that jet right there, you have the option if you want to the formation fly with it if you can. Try to stick with it. The thing has no tack hand, and it takes off pretty quick. In later versions, I'll try to figure out how to delay its takeoff for about 10 minutes. Till then, that thing takes off and it is gone, and it flies to the furthest base, which is Batumi. And with the MiG-21, I've been able to cover about 3/4 of that leg without fuel tanks. So you can do it. Turn on my final systems here. Little flight recorder. Little IFF thingy. 1, 2. Just make sure everything's good, and I go ahead and radio for a taxi.
Минводы, 503, руление.
Landing light. I like to turn my aileron boosters off and turn off that afterburner for a second.
503, Минводы, разрешаю руление на полосу 3-0.
Go ahead and take it easy. Now there are going to be some minor micro freezes while I'm taxiing down this runway, or taxiway, runway, but not to be don't let it bother you too much. It won't happen too much. Yeah, when I keep looking off to the right like that, it's because my keyboard's to the right of me. Going to my PRMG to 7, so that way it's on this airbase, because I'm basically just going up, showing you guys what this whole thing looks like, how it operates, and then I'm gonna land. Switch that up so the needle actually shows me PRMG and not arc. There it goes. And over here, no, I'm not looking at it too much. I'm gonna try to get a good look at it, but it is a Tornado, an F-16, a MiG-23, and an F-14. So I guess the only Gen 4 jet in here is sitting right there, but it is not usable. Nor do I intend to make it. This is for like true piloting. I don't want anything to do with MFDs, anything to do with Generation 4 jets, period. It should just be all Gage's jets, except for the Mirage. Exception is the Mirage. Got a little special spot in my heart for the Mirage, but other than that, old school. So there it goes, C-17's taking off. Yep. Take it easy while you taxi these things. Go ahead and put my trim back. That's what I was doing right there. Actually, guys, I have a little sequence for you if you want to take off in a MiG-21. So you put your flaps on half, and the trim, I count to 2 1,000. So I'll hold trim down or trim up, and I say 1 1,000, 2 1,000, and let it go. And basically, once you hit about, I'll say about 280 kilometers per hour, she'll start to lift off pretty easily. But even before that, it'll already have some lift to it. So be careful, because she'll start to bounce. And I honestly don't know how YouTube's going to do the quality of this video. I can say right now that my computer is not some supercomputer either, but it is just workable for playing DCS on pretty much high graphics. I don't use VR, I use track IR, and to be able to record it at the same time though, and not have too much of a FPS problem, especially with weather like this. Turn on my afterburner. Yep, turn on my landing light. Take off the block to raise my landing gear, and then I turn on my red lights. Yep. Go ahead and spool up for the takeoff. Now I knew my front wheel was kind of crooked when we stopped, so instead of just spooling up, hitting afterburner and releasing the brake, I actually released the brake while still on normal, and then I put it in burner, or at military power, then I put it in burner. There we go. This is where she starts to bounce a little. 280, nose comes up. 300, she's off the ground. Every time. Gear up. Turn my light off. Gear back in neutral position. Put on the blocker. And I've already raised my flaps. And this is what it looks like from up top. So you can see it's pretty, it's not easy to see. Yeah. Do some weird turns right here. Weird left bank roll. It makes you feel like you just don't know where you're going at any given time, and bam, there's the ground. But I'm take a peek back at the base, and that's what it looks like. Pure rain conditions down here. Clouds. A little bit more about IFR4U though. So it does have two AWACS. One is pre-tuned at 124 for jets like the MiG-21, where they have preset radios, like only preset radios. So yeah, and for the Russian aircraft that are in here, they can tune to 124. And then there's another AWACS, which is Overlord. Forgot the tuning frequency for that, but it is in the briefing. And like for example, the Vigan has a preset for that AWACS. Let me give an AWACS a try. 313.
313, 503, дать обстановку.
And of course it's always going to be clean. There's literally no enemy aircraft. It's a civilian aircraft that's actually taken off and landing at, or it's in the air when we start and it's landing at mineral whatever Bodhi, and as you two take off, as you and the C-17 take off, basically it's out there in the pattern. And then it's the two AWACS, and then it's the C-17. And then of course yourself. Those are the only aircraft in the air currently. But it's just something to have. If you could find them, you can fly formation with them for a minute above the clouds and let your eyes rest. Because I would think you would need it. So yeah, this is just displaying the pure whiteout conditions. So here's the map in version 1.01, and this I went ahead and made it so the map only shows like this. It won't show you where you are, it doesn't show where they are. Straight real map, like a real paper map. That's all you get. Of course, in real life we would have IFR sectionals and whatnot, but since we don't have that in here, you just gotta trust your gut, trust your ILS, trust that paper map, trust your directioning. Just trust. And learn that on this map, DCS actually does, being a flight simulator, DCS does calculate magnetic variation. You'll see a little bit later where I make this mistake. See, in here I'm actually looking for the runways. There it was, 289. There it was, and I couldn't see it. I didn't see it while I was flying the mission, but in the briefing I do put the runways bearing, the runways, yeah, the runways bearing, and for us it's 289 because we land on 30. Yeah, we land on 30, so it's 289. That's a tough one. Oh, because it's okay, so on the map, you'll see it in a minute, but on the F10 map, it's going to say 295 degrees, and I don't adjust for variation. Anyways, let's just be checking some lamps real quick, showing my fuel state. Show you that this ain't no game, I got to get this thing on the ground.
Минводы, 503, возврат.
I forgot I was on the wrong frequency. I was on 0. I had to go back to 12.
Минводы, 503, возврат.
Might have said the wrong preset.
503, минводы. Следуйте курсом 344, удаление 40.
now I'm trying to catch a specific radial to come in on that runway. If you look down there, the ADI, I think that's what it's called. Not that artificial horizon. The one that's constantly going in a counterclockwise turn does that. It like bounces off of a certain point if I'm turning too hard and starts to reset itself. It's about to stop and show myself where I am, right there. So now I know I have to go a little more this way. But in this instant, little spoiler, I will not make the landing this first try. You will see. But it's all in learning. This is all about learning IFR flying. And I've been playing flight sims for years now, since 2007. And I can tell you to this day that no matter how hard anything gets on the battlefield, the most mind-boggling thing for me still is IFR flying. Just getting shot at, deflection shooting, knowing how to dodge missiles, notching, all that buttery stuff about being a fighter pilot is wonderful, but not half as difficult in my head as true IFR flying. Now, of course, combine the two, and we have a real problem. But separate the two, and I'd much rather be a clear day fighter pilot than I would be an any day IFR pilot. At least in these kind of conditions. But again, I did not say combine the two. Combine the two and you have something that triumphs all. So see, I didn't turn on my gun sight or anything. It's just a base flight. Got everything set the way I needed it to. But I was a little shaky on coming in. You'll see it. You'll see it. Just keep watching. Bam, PMG just caught. PRMG just caught. I'm trying to turn left to intercept it. But I don't know that runway's true radial, but if I just look at the end of the actual needle on that motherfucking gauge, I can't remember the name of that gauge. Just give me a second. This is what the cloud cover looks like. So right now I'm coming down to 500 kilometers per hour. I got half flap. I'm just trying to line myself up right. I got PRMG on, and it's lining me up, but at the same time, it just put me in the most gnarliest dive ever, and they've already cleared me for visual just now, which is actually bad. Because if you look to the right, I'm now 10 kilometers out, but still above 1,000 meters. Still above 1,500 meters. So I'll put my gear down, turn on my light. I'm still at 550 kilometers per hour. I'm not paying attention to my distance right now. I put full flaps down to try to slow myself down. I'm on it, but you see the glide slope indicator still somewhat says that I'm super low, yet the jet is in a nose down attitude, 20 meters per second, going down. And I didn't feel comfortable with this. I didn't feel comfortable at all. And this is exactly the stuff I'm talking about. So see, this is when I noticed PRMG broke. Basically it disconnects because the parameters are too far off, and I go ahead and just call off the landing completely. And I didn't notice, but to the right again where the dial's going up, it says 2 and it's going to 3. I had actually overflown the runway entirely during that whole entire fiasco. Yeah, so I put my gear back up, put my flaps back up, forget to turn my light off, and that actually breaks it. I'm just climbing, getting up out of here, put PRMG back to navigation mode, abort the landing.
Миноводы, 503. Отмена возврата. Продолжаю выполнение задачи.
Okay, now we're back above the clouds, and I'm gonna go out and reset. Second, I am currently trying to find the name of the gauge that I keep trying to tell you guys about right now. It's right in my face. Got this little guide out right now. Let's see if I can't find it. Here it is. NPP, that's what I'm looking for. So down there on the NPP, I'm actually going to end up, yeah, I'm kind of looking at it right now. That thing can end up resetting itself as you turn. It does it over and over. It does it over and over. But I don't mind. It's part of flying old school. So yeah, here I'm just trying to reset. You see, yeah, shake my head because that was not good. Basically, a few months ago, I tested PRMG to the core on a clear, perfect day, and it took me to learn that PRMG will bring you down straight to the ground without letting the plane, you know, break away from attempting to land at a certain point. It's because PRMG is like ILS, but not. How can I say this? PRMG and ILS are the same thing. It's just ILS though has minimums. PRMG in this MiG-21 does not have a minimum setting. So, for example, at 80 meters, if I can't see the runway, the jet should actually level off where it is and or level off at 80 meters and keep flying the direction, even though it would be perfectly on course with the runway. Is because I didn't confirm, basically, by disengaging PRMG at that moment. That's so confusing. But yeah, by disengaging PRMG, you would have basically informed it that you see the runway by the time minimums have came in. That way you take the jet in the rest of the way. In real world ILS systems, it's the same thing, not including the true automatic landing though. But during approach, ILS will say something, you know, you'll hear it in the jet, approaching minimums. At that moment, you should be able to see the runway. If you didn't turn off the autopilot, it would level you out and keep you flying at 200 feet above the runway's ground level. But if you turn it off, bam, you're good to go. I don't know how automatic landing systems work yet. I wasn't in the flight simulator days long enough for that. I only learned ILS landings and then called it a day. At least I didn't have a module in Flight Simulator X that could do automatic landings. Everything was just ILS down to minimums. But anyways, in this, MiG-21 definitely does not have a minimum setting. Okay, this is what I was talking about though. Here on the map, I draw this ruler line and you see it says 295. This is where I mess up. Now, I'm about to go back into the jet, and on the MPP, I'm gonna put 295. But I forgot about adjusting for magnetic variation in DCS Caucasus map that is negative 6 degrees. So I should actually have put it at 289, which is what it's gonna say in the briefing. In the briefing, it says 289 is runway 30's bearing or azimuth or whatever. But either way, I put it at 295. And right now I'm just trying to fly out further. And once again, I'm going to attempt to use PRMG and use it for, or landing, might I say. Yes, that's the difference. RSBN It's navigation. PRMG is the landing. So I'm going to attempt to use PRMG again, but this time...
Минводы, 503, возврат. 503, минводы. Следуйте курсом 328, удаление 4-0, давление 717,18, посадочный 3-0, занимайте высоту круга.
Okay, so here, I'm banking hard. I do bank harder and pull harder than I usually do, but it doesn't really matter. I can even do this lightly, and watch this. The MPP is gonna like bounce in a second. Okay, there it goes. See, you can see it right now. It's going to reverse, but I don't really trip about it because I'm used to it. So, turn on my landing lights, which are broke because I went past the 650 km/h, and I'm past it right now, which I did not notice when I was doing this. I put PRMG in landing mode. Yep, there we go. And I start trying to intercept the things, the radio. And as you can see, I have it at 295. The basis to me right now is at somewhere near 330. So that actually tells you I'm coming in a little, yeah, that should be the angle. But that needle that's at 295 should actually be at 289. You'll see where this draws. You see where this actually almost kills me. Almost kills my ass. So we're about 45 kilometers out now. Another thing I know about ILS flying, make sure you have the aircraft trimmed and like ready for landing before going through clouds that are this low to the ground. So say the clouds are at 3,000 meters or so, you could probably get away with not putting your gear down and whatnot. Still be dangerous, but you can get away with it. Clouds are at 4,000 meters, you can definitely get away with it. But like 3,000, 2,500 meters, I know that's a pretty big gap, but you generally want to start thinking about trimming your aircraft out, dropping your gear, full flaps, and get your alpha right and your speed right. Get your trim right for your alpha, and then get your speed right so you actually control your rate of descent. And then that way you hold that through the clouds. If you try to do this in the clouds, in this mission especially, you'll kill yourself, no doubt. At least I would think so. So see here, I'm actually dropping down to 400 kilometers per hour. I should get close to about 350, between 350 and 380 is where the MiG likes to kind of like, you know, that's its little landing speed right there, or at least approach speed. I don't know about putting the gear down at 380. I'm sure you can do it, but you're asking for it. So right now I'm dipping into the clouds. It's our second try. About 30 clicks out now. 350 kilometers per hour. And you can see down there on the MPP that the actual PRMG needle itself is starting to align with that course needle that's at 295. Again, this actually pretty much shafts me. The worst part is PRMG still never caught during this whole time. It never gave me glide slope indication, never gave me, what do you call that? Ooh, I just forgot the name of that. Basically left-right indication. Both of them don't come up. No glide slope, no lateral. Right? Lateral? No glide slope, and no like longitudinal support. There we go. But as the needles align, and the fact that I'm, let's see if I look. The fact that I'm 25 kilometers out, and that the needles are aligning, I'm starting to base something's not right, because PRMG should have caught. But in reality, because I have it set at 295, I'm so far right of the runway that I don't even notice it. It's just fortunate that I have the plane trimmed out the way I wanted it to before I had entered these clouds. And if you look, even right now, I'm dropping, but I'm not. I notice it because I have my plane trimmed out the way I want it to. I don't go below 20 meters per second. I'm actually able to hold it, and I realize right here that I'm on the way to the runway, but I'm still not aligned. Like the needles just aren't aligning, and it's not able to. The more I chase the PRMG needle, is the more it's off anyways compared to course. Or the more I try to get the PRMG needle on the course line, is the more the PRMG needle is just going to keep trailing off anyways. It's because it's not aligned. I forgot to take off 6 degrees. It should be at 289, not 295. Yep. But my rate of descent is fine, and I'm not too scared. I understand I'm actually in control. I am under 1,000 meters though. I'm under 750 meters right now. Just passing below. I kind of banked a little because I'm trying to align this needle, and it's not occurring to me what I'm doing wrong, but it's all human error, and it's all in learning. Now I know that it's 289 and not 295 for mineralian or whatever. Okay, see here we're coming up out of the clouds, and this is where I start to realize, I'm like, see, PRMG should have caught by now, no doubt. I trust my PRMG. And that being said, random failures are on in this mission. Be prepared for gauges not to be accurate and stuff, and for random things to happen. You might just have a whole entire engine shut down. Point is, yeah, hydraulic system failure, engine failure, something can happen. Point is, be ready. But see here, I noticed the base. I was actually able to see it because of my decent glide slope, because of the way I trimmed the plane before I fell through the clouds, and the fact that PRMG didn't catch, but by the time I got below the clouds, I wasn't too afraid. Whereas the first time, it had nosed me down over 20 meters per second to try to catch the runway, and it was because I was way out. I was way off. I was way too high, and I was basically already flying over the base. This time, I understood that I was pretty far back, still at 20 clicks or so. When we came out of the clouds, I don't know where we were at. Wasn't paying attention, but the point is PRMG should have been locked, and that's when I knew we were off. But when I looked out, and the fact that we're still pointed at it and we weren't too far from it, when I looked out the window, there it was, mineral, your home plate. I'm just call it home plate. There it is. PRMG just kicked in. Finally, that's why, yeah, zoomed in on it. But at this rate, it's a little bit too late, because even at this point it is all visual. I did forget to request landing. And usually you would see the water because the lights would be on, but I broke my lights. I wasn't paying attention, so that's just how that happens. There is a good crosswind that will be pushing you to the or will make you have to use left rudder. Pushing you to the right, making you use left rudder. Yes, there we go. But nonetheless, get her back down safely. Tough landing. Deploying my parachute. And that's a wrap. So yeah, if you guys are interested in this mission, just give it a try. Like I say, it's really not for the faint of heart though. I've already crashed a few times doing this, and a couple of times I actually wanted to go ahead and quit making this mission, but I actually went ahead and went through it, and I just gotta get back on the grind and learning how to be a true IFR pilot. Like I said, IFR is a whole nother concept next to having to fly these fighter jets. You know, we're not just doing commercial anymore. We're not just chilling. We're up in the air. We're getting shot at, or at least getting looked at by something that wants to shoot at us. We're looking for something to shoot at. I'm just saying that generally, not this mission. But yeah, you combine those things with weather like this, and you got to understand combat doesn't stop just because it's a bad weather day. You got to know how to fly IFR. With that being said, it's Big Grease, and I'm out.